Oh, in this lab, what we're going to have a look at is we're just going to have a look at the vSphere client user interface. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the client to log into the vCenter server system. We're then going to navigate through the vSphere server inventory and just have a look at some licensing information within the vSphere client as well. So the vSphere client allows me to manage hosts and also allows me to manage my virtual center server. So I'm just going to log into my virtual center server. Because I'm already logged in as my administrator account, I'm just going to turn on the little tick box here to log in with my Windows session credentials. Won't take too long to log in here, so we're just connecting through now. Next thing we should see is it loading the inventory, discovering all the plugins, and then I should get my vSphere client interface. Here we go, here's my vSphere client interface. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're just going to have a look at the home page. So click OK on my evaluation license. Click on my home page, and on my home page here, what we can see is a number of different options that we can click on. So we start up with the inventory here. We've got the search functionality. It allows us to do really much what it says, search. Hosts and clusters will allow us to have a look at all our ESXi hosts, clusters that the ESXi host may be a member of. It'll also allow us to have a look at the virtual machines as well. Virtual machines and templates view allows me to have a look at virtual machine objects and also template objects that allow me to create virtual machines. Data stores and clusters are the locations where we actually store the virtual machine files, ISOs and potentially templates. Networking view allows me to have a look at my distributed virtual switches and also analyze my standard switches. Into the roles tab, this is used for delegation of administration, so we set up roles and apply those roles to objects. Sessions tab allows me to see sessions that are currently open. Licensing we'll come back to, but the licensing is, as it describes, licensing for the product. System logs is quite important for troubleshooting. We can have a look at the logs and find out exactly what's causing issues. vCenter server settings are the actual virtual center server itself, so this allows us to have a look at the settings that we're potentially going to use for, say, emailing out alarms or having a look at setting up SNMP. vCenter Solutions Manager allows me to manage plugins. Storage Providers allows me to have a look at vSphere storage. vCenter Server Service Status allows me to have a look at all the services that actually run on the Windows box and allow the virtual center server to run. Schedule tasks, self-explanatory, allows me to schedule things like, say, vMotion or changing resource pool settings. Events are everything that's going on in the system, and we'll have warnings, information, and errors. The maps gives me a graphical overview of how my kit actually interfaces in with the network, virtual machines, hosts, and also the data stores as well. Host profiles, a bit of an advanced functionality with Enterprise Plus. What I'll do is I configure a single host. What I will then do is, using that single host, push out all of those changes to additional hosts as well. Storage profiles allows me to create little profiles based off storage type. So I might have gold storage as SSD storage, might have silver as my SATA type storage or SAS type storage. And then my customization specifications manager is used for templates to create new virtual machines from the templates. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to have a look at the hosts and clusters view. What we can see here, we're in a data center called training. And then within there, what we have is we have two ESXi hosts. These two ESXi hosts will be used later on in later labs. Now what we'll do is we'll just change our inventory view. And we've changed that to VMs and templates. And what we can see here is we've got a folder here for our virtual machines themselves. And we also have a folder here for our template. And as you can see here, we have two virtual machines, Lab VM 051, Lab VM 061. And we have a template called Master 03 to allow us to create new virtual machines. Now what we'll do here is we'll just go to a different view. We'll just go to our data stores and data store clusters view. And within here what we have is we have a number of different data stores. We have the local storage for server 5, local storage for server 6. I've got a shared templates folder where my template files currently are. And I've also got shared VMs as well, which is where the virtual machine files will go eventually. If we then just have a look at our networking view, what we have here is we've got a standard virtual switch for virtual machines called VM Network, and we have two distributed virtual switches, one for the production virtual machines and one which will be used later on for vMotioning. Now that we've done all of that, last thing in this lab was to have a look at the licensing information. So we've come to the licensing. What we have here is we've got a product. We go to evaluation mode here. We can see we've got no license key, and we've got evaluation licensing on 3 different objects, 2 ESXi hosts and the virtual center server. If we have a look at the license key, not a lot to see here. This is evaluation mode, but again, we have the 3 objects. We then just go to our asset tab. So we've got a product, license key. If we license a product, we get an asset. So you can see everything's in evaluation mode at the minute. So that just finishes off having a quick look at Lab 1 in the vSphere 5 overview course. Thanks very much.